she has an amazing business. You need to connect with her. My name is Judy Feldhausen, and I also have a health business. We are dedicated to helping each other succeed in or out of business. That's one of the things that Ginny and I actually have in common. And it's one of the things that I think Michelle Young has also. And I'm gonna look at her bio a little bit, but I just want to share with you my perception of Michelle Young. So I met Michelle, gosh, 2 or 3 years ago, I think, at an event. And one thing that I remember about Michelle was just the aura that I got from her of peace, vitality, and sharing. And really, Michelle has spent her life learning about other people. I know that. And she helps people really love being alive and helping them meet their own goals, whatever their goals are, whether they're personal or professional, it doesn't make any difference. And she works with just so many different kinds of people. Her and her husband, Aaron, are a wonderful team that live on a ranch. I don't know if she's going to share any of that, but she's got a wonderful lifestyle, and she's got children, she's got grandchildren. She's been actually married for over 34 years to the same guy, actually, which is kind of my husband says that he and I are a minority because we've been married a long time too. So it's kind of nice to be in that minority with Michelle has 4 children and their partners and 6 sassy grandchildren. And I know that I'm so pleased to welcome Michelle here and to be able to have her share her knowledge and her heart with us. So welcome, Michelle.
It is such a genuine honor to be here. Thank you for the applause. And I am applauding Judy and Ginny. I want to communicate with you what an honor it is to be here and to get to talk to you today. And first of all, to be in the company of these 2 women, truly, because the characteristic that I admire most in people is kindness. And these women couple kindness with drive and keen perception and well-being, and to be in your company is a genuine honor for me. So thank you very much for having me. And for those of you on the call that I already know, it's so good to see you because we don't get to be in person very often anymore. And for those of you that I get to meet for the first time, it's really a pleasure to be here and to talk with you about a topic that, well, as Judy said, I've been studying people my whole life, and I've been studying happiness my whole life. And it's a little bit of an interesting story, truthfully, because if you look at the pretty part of my resume, and you guys, you know, because nobody goes, you know what, I'm gonna make an ugly resume and it's gonna be dark and people might need chocolate afterward, right? Nobody ever does this. So if I give you my pretty resume, you're gonna go, well, yeah, it's easy to be happy when you're you, right? I could do that. And a lot of times, honestly, it's why I have a hard time at some events, because they're like, and look at how beautiful and easy it is for me. And I'm like, damn, it has never been that pretty for me. It's like, I always walk around going, geez, that's it. You know, it's like my little grandson. I have a 2-year-old little grandson who is very determined to enunciate properly. But he has this gorgeous vocabulary, but in order to enunciate properly, you've got to be patient. He will get the words out and he will get them out properly. So his older sister, who's his best friend, runs down the hall when I was at their house the other day, and she runs up and she tells us this glorious story about all these things that they're doing upstairs and all of the things that they're creating. And she's like, and now I'm gonna go back now. And she's like, and you hear those little feet, right? Pound, 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 pound down the hall. So then, you know, the tinier little feet, and you hear coming down the hall, and my little 2-year-old grandson comes and he tells the same story. It takes like 3 or 4 times as long as his sister took, same story. But then you hear that, and then all of a sudden I hear boom, right? And my daughter and I are silent. We're silent. And all of a sudden you hear, me okay, and he runs back upstairs. And I feel like this has been the series of events that have gotten me here today. It's like I'm just trying as hard as I can to keep up with everybody else, and it seems like I do it slower than everybody else. And on the way back, there's this like massive crash that nobody else saw, and I'm looking around and I'm just gonna yell at anybody who may have heard it, "Me okay?" Because that's what life has looked like for me. So Judy said, I don't know if you'll tell us anything about the ranch. So we have 25 acres in the Pacific Northwest, up in the foothills of Mount St. Helens. We have a view of Mount St. Helens from our house. We have a bunch of goats, and we have a horse breeding program here. And that's all kind of like, I get to walk out and just look at it, which is really a cool job, right? Because it's a lot less work than the worky part of it, which it turns out is a lot. But I just get to watch it and go, good for you. But so this last year during quarantine, because we were at home and because I was like really exploring our property for the first time because I was home, I started watching birds. And I got really excited about where I live because there are a lot of birds that can be seen. And all of a sudden I was like this kind of like bird geek. Like I'm like, well, look at that. It's a southern cardinal. Did you know they're not? It's like southern because they're red. I was like, why would a southern cardinal be here? I'm in the Pacific Northwest. Anyway, it turns out I didn't know. I was seeing a whole bunch of birds, but I didn't recognize them. And that is a lot like my life has been, that I was seeing a lot of paths to happiness. I was seeing a lot of joy, but I did not recognize the bird of happiness because I was looking at it through dirty goggles. Now, I'm going to tell you really quickly. I'm good on time, team? Okay. I'm going to tell you really quickly a story that I have yet to tell to an audience. So you are my first audience. If you've ever seen the video where it shows a group of youth, and it's a religious video where they're like pastors and they're saying, okay, the fastest person on foot is going to win this race. And then they're given different, but you get to take a few steps forward if, and you get to take a few steps backwards if. And it's all of the liabilities of childhood, all of the traumatic events that would happen. And I didn't know I had a difficult childhood until one time a friend said to me, oh yeah, my parents having a really hard time. She had a bad childhood. And then she goes, not as bad as yours. And I was like, wait, what? And she feels really bad now, but I'm like, honey, it was the kindest thing you could have done to me because you just reflected back to me what you were saying. And it was confirmed to me when I watched that video, because while I'm not a minority, I do have a lot of the earmarks of real difficulty in my life, real trauma in my life, mental illness, abandonment, alcoholism, imprisonment, being an unwanted child, not being wanted to be a girl. They wanted me to be a boy, and all of the messages around that. I've never shared this story before because it's a story that one has to chew on for a while. You know what I'm saying? You got to sit back and go, okay, what am I going to do with this? Because what does it mean about me? And this is what I've come to understand it means about me. It means absolutely nothing. It is the wake of the boat that I am. It is the opportunity that I had to learn about joy. And this is where I get a little teary because I watch people like Ginny, who do it so beautifully. And I watch the looks on your faces when you feel joy. And I had to learn how to have joy through a book, through a mentor. I had to understand, I had to look just like my bird watching book, just like my bird watching book, where it says, it's about this big and it's these colors. And if you look in these directions, this is where you find it. That's how I learned to experience happiness. And that's the best wellness program I've ever been on. It's the one that's created the most youth in my skin. It's created the biggest smile on my face. It's created the most peace when I go into a business meeting feeling unprepared and like a poser, because y'all know you feel it sometimes. You might not have had to chew on the things that I've had to chew on, but the fact is you have things to have had to chew on, and you have asked yourselves the question, what does this mean about me? And I am here to witness to you. I testify to you that the happiness that you desire, the abundance that you want, the things that you long for that you haven't even yet been able to reveal to yourself, they are here for you. You deserve them, you get to have them, and they are yours. I am Michelle Pierson Young. Thank you for hearing my story today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Michelle. That is amazing. And we are so honored that you felt safe enough to share your story with us today.
That is because of the women that you are. And because of the women that you are, I know the people that you attract. And that is why I knew I was safe. Thank you for allowing that. Thank you for being who you are.
Thank you.
Michelle, really a big hug to you. Right now, my eyes are teary because, you're right. When we think about Michelle and Aaron Young, we look at this splendor life you have, the ranch, 25 acres, this and that, the accomplishment and all that. We look at with the different eyes. And thank you for being that authentic and vulnerable with all of us, that we know that we can pick up the phone and call Michelle and say, yes, Michelle, tell me more. How can I?
Absolutely.
And you said,
that's my pleasure. That is the real pleasure that I didn't do because I felt so imprisoned in a way that nobody could see. Nobody could know on the surface. Honestly, my husband didn't even know, and nobody could tell. Because of that, when people come to me and they say, I don't feel heard, or I don't believe I can be a success, and this is the really important part for me, I get to be present with them in a way that has nothing to do with me, that is just fully able to receive that experience and know that it doesn't mean anything about them either. And I get to be that witness in that moment. It's just so great. I mean, seriously, you guys, best job ever. Sorry, I didn't mean to brag. I was not going to brag, but then it happened. I love the job.
And Michelle, I don't know if you're willing to do this, but could you share some of your contact information in the chat so that if people would want to connect with you, on another level, that they would be able to do that?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, team. I'm so important and difficult. Actually, I have been difficult to get hold of, Judy. Okay, that's true. Look at this. 503 957. That's the other thing about finally. What's that?
We didn't want to tell that part, Michelle.
No.
We were determined to bring her to our community. And I'll be honest, when Judy and I
oh my gosh, and I made it
about
hard.
it. Thank you, Michelle. You're all a family with us now. Carolyn, Carol, Susan, Mallory, Sangeeta, everybody here right now. We are as authentic as can be. Ron, welcome, Russell. Judy and me, when we think about our community and what we want to really create and build, I'll be honest, we are picky and choosy about the speakers. Judy and me talk for hours. We have so many options, okay? And we really go around and say, you know what? We want to know that person a little bit more. We want to know if he or she is authentic enough to share the real wisdom. And it's truly, my dear friends, life is all about creating that. It's not about transaction. It's not about, oh, I'm getting a client, let me do a business, blah, blah, blah. Mallory, okay, blah, blah, blah. You have written here, I want to just catch you and sell you something. It's not about that. Let's learn to really change the way we are doing business. Let's learn to live our lives to the max. Every minute of our life, every second of our life should be the fullest which we have the potential in us to unleash it and have fun and relax and enjoy the moments. And I think with this COVID last year, all of us who are thriving now have learned to embrace that even more. And those who have not are still perishing and going down. They are facing all those issues which we can think about financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. Everything is coming their way, big like a hurricane, I tell people. if you don't learn to embrace the fundamentals of creating those relationships and creating those communities where you can feel safe, honored, and welcomed. So Michelle, you are always part of our community. Everybody on this call right now, Kathy B, Carolyn, Carol, I'm Angela, I'm saying your names again and again. Why? I just want you to know how honored we are by your presence, and we really mean it. We mean it. How, whatever way we can do and help you, it'll be our pleasure and joy. Judy?
Absolutely. And if someone has any questions for Michelle, we welcome you to unmute yourself and go ahead and we have a couple minutes here that we can, Michelle can answer questions.
By the way, I'm an executive coach. That's what I do. I have clients all over the United States, and if you're like, I got a coaching question, I'm your coach on this call. You made it on this call. So if you don't, that's cool too. But this is about you, team. What would you
Michelle.
like to know?
Carol.
So hello, it's been a while. Big hugs.
Hey, darling.
And
so good to see you.
it is a blessing. So I have one of the fun personal questions on the delivery of your grandchildren and locations that they have delivered. There's an inside joke.
There are. So I have 6.3 grandchildren. Shh, don't tell anybody the 0.3 team. That's just between us. I just realized I announced that. Gee, right. So that's bad mother and lying. Hardcore. Anyway, so and 4 of them were born in fairly normal circumstances, and then I have one daughter who was my daughter, so she's the weirdo, and she knows I say this about her, so we're cool. But she had one of her kids she was having at home, and she labored for, and this is late, gentlemen, I apologize and I'll go quick, but she labored for 9 hours, was dilated to a 9. I mean, she not for 9 hours, she was dilated to a 9 for more than 9 hours and ended up having a massive C-section, but the same daughter. So you can imagine this is the setup for what happened. She and her family were living with us when she was having her second baby, and we live 40 minutes from the hospital, which is no problem at all because she delivered him in our driveway instead. So, like seriously, full moon. The horses were literally like, the ambulance was right here in the driveway. Well, the ambulance was right here, and the horses are like looking over, going, "What's up, dude?" No, seriously, this is weird. We don't normally see this guy. I told her she looked so feral. She looked so feral that I told her, I said, you had this like wild look in your eyes. I was pretty convinced you were gonna like strip all your clothes off and like bound over a fence, and we'd find you 3 days later in a bobcat cave with the bobcat like overthrown over in the corner, and you wrapping the baby in front of a fire when the bobcat's dead. I mean, seriously, it was that crazy. So we like to keep it weird.
Yeah, but it's weird. Fun. So I'm having
we're
having our 17th grandchild.
Oh, 17
so she's due any day.
So yummy. Oh, congratulations. Will you be there?
Not this time.
Well,
hugging
you on this joyful event.
Yes. And anyways, guys, Dennis, I love you.
Awesome. Love you all. Thank you for joining us to share your true self, so to speak. Just letting you all know that we host this event once a month. It's once a month, first Wednesday of the month at 12 p.m. We always send you invites. Our request to you guys is, let's share this. Let's spread this joy more, and let's build up this community even more to help each other. Judy and I are there to support you any way we can. Let's have one-on-ones. Let's, next month, May 5th is going to be our next event. We will have another amazing speaker, Michelle Young. You can hear her and you can feel the vibrance she brings to the world. We are hoping to have all of you back with your friends. Join us in the community of really changing the world one step at a time, one family at a time. And that's what we want. Susan just went out and coming back. Judy, anything else? I know the time, we honor each other's time.
We absolutely do. And it's just so great to see Michelle. I think it's been a couple years for me
At
to see
least.
Michelle. So you look as beautiful as ever and as young, Michelle.
Oh,
It's
thank
so good
you.
to see you guys, and say hi to Aaron for us.
Yes.
I will.
We also miss him. And next month it will be Nicole Martin is going to be our speaker, and she's an amazing person, and she talks a lot about soul connection. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from Nicole and hearing what she has to share with us. And please remember to put your information in the chat if you want to do a deeper dive with anyone. And you use the private chat. I'm going to leave it open for a couple of minutes so that you can copy it. And thank you again, Michelle, for sharing your time with us. I'm so glad we were
My
able to
pleasure.
connect.
Thank you so much.
And if there's anything we can do to support you.
Thank you so much for having me. That is what you did. And thank you so much for guiding me too. You ladies have been very patient, and it's a real pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
Honor. Michelle, we're going to bring you back again very soon. We'll have a reunion soon. We are really
anytime, truly.
We're talking about it's 1 o'clock. We honor everybody, respect your time. So officially, we are done with our Unleashing Your Free Spirit 1 hour. You're welcome to stay for a little longer if you want to chat. We are always there. Our shoulders are there to unburden your loads if you want to. If you want to leave, absolutely be respected. It's already 1 o'clock. And Judy and I are respectful of your presence, your time with us, and we are honored by it.
Yes. And thank you, everyone. And goodbye. Have a great month.
Thank you.
Everybody flourish, flourish, flourish.